Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to Obsessive Preparedness. It is January 11th, 2021, and I am doing the re-release of my 10 bucks a week food prep challenge. I'm on week 6 of the re-release. So I've got a few things I want to go over before I do the re-release of that. Keep watching to the end if you want to see my re-release of week 6. But I wanted to discuss, some of my subscribers have asked questions that I wanted to answer, and then discuss some of the things that I and my husband have been up to. Now, one of the questions I get all the time is, am I still prepping? Am I concerned about what is going on? Again, 2020 is gone. We're on 2021, but 2021 is starting to look like 2020. So, yes, I am still prepping. Yes, I am probably focusing more now on my long-term food storage, because for me, I've been prepping a lot of years. And so my pantry is well stocked. The only thing I do now is if I use something, I repurchase it. Sometimes when I go and repurchase those items, I amp up certain things. But my food preps in my pantry are pretty stable. So what I am working on now is long-term food storage. One of the things I've got back here is a bunch of dry, frozen mixed vegetables that I'm going to dehydrate here. I'm going to do a lot more dehydrating in the next month. I want to get that supply amped up. We normally, as the first of the year, we have on our phones to let us know it's time to do it. We drain all of our water in our 100-gallon water tanks. We drain it and we refresh the water and stabilize that water. I will leave up here water purification using bleach, or you can use water stabilizer, whatever you want. If you do a gallon, you're looking at a 1/4 teaspoon. 10 gallons is 2 teaspoons of bleach. And again, I'll leave that up here for you. That's one of the things we do at the first of every year. We do not let that slip by us, because if you can just do that little bit of time, you know you have a fresh water source. Also, what we do is we fill up our propane tanks. We never let them go completely like where everything's wiped out, but we get down about 3 tanks and we refill them. And I've got a video here that I'll leave with my husband telling you the issues we ran into yesterday on getting propane. James went to go get the tanks filled, and what ended up happening?
Well, I thought I'd just go to Home Depot and swap out tanks. It's quick and easy. And they were completely out. There was a guy behind me had just come from Lowe's, and he said they were completely out. Andy had called U-Haul, and they were completely out. So I had to shop around. There's a place that I went to once before, and they fill tanks. And so I got some filled, and they said that for the last week they keep running out of propane. There's definitely a shortage. People are panicked whether Biden's going to shut the country down, or possibly worse coming. So if you need propane, I'd fill it up now. Don't wait. Be caught where you can't cook or what have you with it.
Who would have known that propane was going to be out? But people have been worried, so they are stocking up. It's just like the toilet paper thing. Who would have known that was it? But propane in the Mesa area here was completely out. We had one place that we were able to get our tanks filled. Now, when my husband was talking about going to Home Depot and changing those out, what we do is we go and take our older tanks, turn them in, and it costs a little bit more money than just going down and filling the tanks, but we get newer tanks. And that's something we always want to do, is you want to keep replenishing your older tanks, switching them out to newer tanks, so you don't ever have any issues of leakage, things like that. But who knew? And I, as a prepper, I get a lot of information from all my subscribers telling me some things that are going to happen, but nobody knew anything about propane. So we got those filled up. We're comfortable with our propane. We're blessed to be in Arizona. We don't have to have tremendously a lot of fuel sources. I have my solar sun oven that I know I can cook with. It works out great. Out of many things that I would suggest for preppers and their big ticket items, the things that I would suggest is a solar sun oven, a decent dehydrator. Now, you don't have to buy the Excalibur. You can get the Nesco one, but learn how to dehydrate. a pressure canner and jars. You need a pressure canner with the gauge, and then a good water filtration system. I have the Berkey. I swear by the Berkey. It takes out 99.9% of everything. I know that there's been a lot of people that have said, well, you can go with this. It's like 98% and it's a lot cheaper. To me, spend the extra money that you can get and you're pretty well secure with it filtering everything out. So those are some of the things that I wanted to discuss that we do at the first of every year. We get our propane, our fuel sources, it back in place. We definitely drain our water. We make sure our water supply is replenished, and then we move from there. Now, because I'm in Arizona, I always wait till the cooler times to dehydrate. So that is when I get my dehydrating on. When you dehydrate mixed vegetables, corn, green beans, anything like that, once you've dehydrated and put them in mason jars when they're dry, they will last 25 years plus shelf life. That is one of the things that I tell you not to purchase in number 10 cans. If you have the funds and finances and you don't want to mix with dehydrating, things like that, do your own dehydrated vegetables. They last indefinitely as long as they're stored correctly. So I'm going to go ahead and get on into what I purchased here. Now I went ahead on my dehydrator. I have a 9 tray Excalibur dehydrator. So I went ahead and purchased 9 bags of the 2 pound, let's see, it's 2 pounds, 18 pounds total of mixed vegetables. So I will get these into my dehydrator. Get these out of the way. I figured it would be one of those things, instead of getting it and organizing it, you kind of see what I go through when I'm doing this. Okay, we have more mixed vegetables. I wanted to touch real quickly on dehydrating your mixed vegetables. If they are dehydrating, you are not using your freezer space. By not using your freezer space, you can store other things in your freezer. And also, you're adding vitamins in an SHTF situation that you can have, that you can grab for your body. Having it in the freezer, electricity goes out, now you have food you either have to eat or figure out how to get rid of, meaning canning it, dehydrating all of a sudden. So if you have a power outage for a long-term situation, you're better off having this already dehydrated. All right, I went ahead and purchased, I know I'm going to drop things here, another case of green beans. So I've got 12 cans of green beans. I always tell you, when you get your product, I put the day I purchased it. I did have a subscriber ask me, what if it expires, your cans expire before another can? Because when you go to the grocery store, some things could be sitting on shelves longer than others. So that you have to kind of make a mental on, but I care more about when I purchased it so I can rotate it in my closet. Hopefully, if you're purchasing this kind of stuff, you are using it and rotating it. So you never have 10-year-old vegetables sitting on your shelf. You know, these things you want to rotate. So I got 12 more cans of the green beans. Let's see if I can get this over here. Well, that one's center one. 12 more cans of corn. Now, if your corn gets to the point where it starts to expire and you are worried about it, if you have a dehydrator, you can put your corn, any vegetable, on your dehydrator trays and go ahead and dehydrate them. Then you're making it a longer shelf life. So just an idea. That's why it's always good to have a dehydrator. I always pick up another gallon of vinegar. Now, I do not use vinegar or expect it to sanitize, but I still clean with it on a lot of things. So vinegar is a great thing to have in your stores. Bleach, that is another thing, because I mentioned water purification and we always take care of our water at the first of the year. I always purchase new bleach. You do never want to have expired bleach. So use that older bleach up for your laundry repurchase every year. If you have a game plan to do your water, drain it, get it fixed and stable, make sure you purchase new bleach. Make sure you purchase unscented bleach. You do not want that for your water. All right, I had mentioned, I don't know, I'm running out of room here. Get this out of the way. I had mentioned I purchased things that I already have used in the last week. So I have a list and I purchase what I've already used. That way my stores never go empty. I always replace. So I use some dehydrated cheese. I've got some filling that cake topping that I used. Another jar of pickle relish that I used. I went ahead and picked up 4 more cans of mushrooms. I'm sure they're in another bag here. I made beans the other night. I have hundreds of pounds of beans, but if I use beans, I replace them. I never, again, like I said, and I know I repeat myself a lot, I'm never going to drain one thing down. So my beans, I will put in a mason jar and with the date, and they will go to the back of my cabinets that I store beans. I have refried beans. I didn't need them. I just went ahead and purchased them. Those refried beans, you can always use something in your preps, your flour, your baking soda. You can make your own tortillas, your own Indian fry bread, and then use beans, smear it on there with some cheese. That is something to think about in your preps. If SHTF was ever to happen, you can use a lot of refried beans for certain things. So I found another can of refried beans, and let's see, petite diced tomatoes. Here's another can of my mushrooms, and I used this last couple weeks. I've had friends over. I've made cakes with my sweetened condensed cream, so I went ahead and purchased 2 cans of that. If I go to the store and I buy tuna, so if I use 4 cans of tuna, I'm going to always buy 10 cans of tuna. So I have 10 cans of tuna here. Tuna is awesome to have in your preps. Some more tomatoes, my sweetened condensed cream, my beans, sweetened condensed cream, more mushrooms. Just trying to give you an idea of what I get to replace in my stores. Let me see if I can get all this. So I talked about tuna. Get these. Trying to hurry so this video isn't long for you, but I try to give you tips on ways and things to think about on your preps of what to purchase. All right. And my last couple cans of tuna. All right, so 10 cans of tuna. And then I purchase clams. Now what do? I make linguine and clam sauce. So if you're storing pasta and you get sick and tired of spaghetti in your preps, think about linguine and clam sauce. Super easy to make, nutritional for you, and it's another way to be able to use your pasta without just going to straight spaghetti sauce and having spaghetti. I know a lot of people like spaghetti. I can only eat a spaghetti meal maybe once every 2 months. But if I have an Alfredo, a linguine and clam sauce, a carbonara, learn how to cook different recipes so you can make your noodles that you have stored, so you don't have the same thing over and over again. I probably will do a video. Keep an eye out of linguine and clam sauce. I've got an awesome recipe that I'll share with you probably in the next couple weeks. The last thing that I purchase, I always get when I'm at the store, I picked up another 5-gallon bucket, another Gamma lid for my bucket. Now, they make lids that you pound on and you do not remove them. I love the Gamma lids because you can get in to a certain thing and be able to get in and out of your preps without having to try to pry loose that lid. And when you do put things in 5-gallon buckets, you want to make sure you have a lid that fits and isn't just wobbly on top, because if bugs can crawl in, you ruin your products, and a mouse or whatever can push that lid off. You want to have something that you can seal on. So what you have to do is get a rubber mallet, hit this down, then that's on, and then now you can use your gamma lid to take things on and off. And lastly, I love Dave's cornbread mix. I put in green chilies, the 505 green chilies into this with some cheddar cheese. Awesome mix. And I'm always at Winco purchasing. I get to them here. Can't get my hands on it. The last thing I'm going to discuss is these little sauce mixes. Now, if you are fortunate enough to have a Winco near you, these are really affordable. You're talking anywhere from 43 cents to 60 cents. So I purchased some beef stew mix, some pot roast mix, some more turkey gravy, spaghetti sauce, and I think that's it. Yeah, so I have several packages of these. I will put the dates on them so I can rotate them, and I always use the oldest first. If you're thinking, why does she have so much of this? You know that spaghetti sauces in jars will eventually go bad faster than most things. So I will purchase a lot of the spaghetti sauce mixes dried. That way it's not going bad and I can just reach for it. And they actually are wonderful tasting. So give these all. Winco sauces, gravies are so good, and they're affordable, and they're great to have in your food preps. Gravy mixes. I have mentioned this time and time again. If you have these, if you had a turkey spam, you could use a turkey gravy. You could make some of your mashed potatoes that are in your preps, and you have a mashed potato kind of turkey dinner. Now, I'm not talking about eating this stuff every day of the week. What I'm talking about is building this into your preps and actually eating it. But then in a doomsday SHTF situation, you can get this and you can change your meals. So I think I've covered my haul here. I want to thank you for watching, and if you're still with me, keep watching if you're interested in my re-release of my 10 bucks a week food prep challenge, week 6. Have a blessed day. Hello and welcome back to Obsessive Prepper Today we are on week 6 of our 10 bucks a week food challenge. And as we're going along, you see here we're building up our food preps, starting to get a nice comfortable food prep pantry. And now we're working on our week 6. What I have here on week 6 is a few items that you can use for dinner, lunch, breakfast, and one of them is corned beef hash. Now, I just recently purchased 2 cans of corned beef hash. Now, my local Fry's, Kroger's, had them on sale for $1.49, so I picked up 2 cans of corned beef hash. Now, my family likes corned beef hash. Now, I'm in the generation that we ate a lot of canned foods, and there's nothing better than fried corned beef hash. And I will fry it up. We'll serve it with hard-boiled eggs, or I will fry it up. We'll put some eggs in a burrito with some corned beef hash, roll it up, or just the corned beef hash. So this is a good staple. You get some protein in your meal, and you have a decent meal. So if you haven't tried corned beef hash, or maybe even the roast beef hash, I highly suggest to go get a can and try it for your preps. I also just purchased 2 cans of chunky soup, roasted beef tips, and we also have the chicken and dumplings. Now on these cans, it killed me to purchase them because I purchased them for $1.50 each. And I don't normally purchase them unless I find them on sale for 99 cents. But because it was our 10 buck a week challenge and I wanted to show you things to do with your preps that you can make meals for your family. Having your chunky soup, some rice or pasta, your green beans, you have a bigger meal that you can have for your family. Let's just say it's an SHTF situation and you don't have time or the water to cook your rices. You can still open up a can of your chunky soups, eat it out of the can or heat it up, some of your green beans. We're just trying to find things that are nutritious, that your family will eat, that can make bigger meals for your family in an SHTF situation. These are shelf stable. I also purchased 2 pounds of cornmeal at Winco. The next thing I purchased was their cornmeal, and I purchased 2 pounds of cornmeal at 58 cents a pound. Our 2 pounds of cornmeal with our baking powder, baking soda, we can make cornbread. We can put a can of green chilies in it or a can of creamed corn in that. If you have a stove, if you don't have any fuel sources, but you have a solar sun oven, cornbread is great in the sun oven. So by having cornmeal, you could also use it or a breading on something. So cornmeal is great to have in our preps, and especially by making a different kind of bread. Another bread that's just not AP flour or your grain flour. We have another item that we can make breads out of. I also purchased 2 more boxes of Suddenly salad. I've already put 1 box into our preps, but I truly believe Suddenly salads with the seasonings can help make a great meal. You mix some chicken into it, some tuna. So if you possibly can and you have a pressure cooker, you can do ground beef, or you can do ground sausage. You can do beef, chicken, and you can have those in your preps. We don't have those for our preps right now because we're only on $10 a week. So we do have some Spam back here, some chicken, and some tuna. So mixed in with our Suddenly salad, now we're extending our meals. We're making bigger meals, more nutritional value to those meals. And finally, I went ahead and added a package of mushroom gravy and turkey gravy. Now, if you watch the previous episodes of my weeks, I show you that you can make something like a turkey Spam with some of your noodles. Now you have a turkey gravy, or we can do a turkey Spam sliced with turkey gravy and put it over our instant mashed potatoes. And we have our mushroom gravy, which we can do a lot with. Similar to what we discussed with the soups. With a mushroom gravy, we can make this base. We can put some dehydrated vegetables in it if you dehydrate. If you don't and you've never tried it, I highly suggest getting a dehydrator. I have several videos out of dehydrating mixed vegetables, and I purchased frozen mixed vegetables, frozen corn, and frozen green beans, along with many other items, and I put those in my food dehydrator and I make them shelf stable. So if you look into something like that, then you have your mixed vegetables, you can get your mushroom gravy, you can make a stew out of maybe your chicken or another product, and you can pour it over your rice or your potatoes, shredded potatoes, whatever. So these are little simple ideas for you. So for our week 6, I have 2 Suddenly salads. I already put them in mason jars. One is Caesar and one is classic. And in the previous videos, if you watch, I show you how to put them in mason jars and make them shelf stable. They technically are shelf stable. One of the things I like about Suddenly salad is that they put their pasta in sealed bags and also their seasonings. In my previous video, I show you something like rice-a-roni where it's loose in the bag. And by having it loose, the air gets to it, bugs can get to it, and I show you how to put them in food saver bags, Mylar bags in previous videos, so check that out. So 2 boxes of Suddenly salad, our green beans, our corned beef hash, 2 cans of chunky soups, 2 pounds of our cornmeal, mushroom gravy, turkey gravy. Now this was all right at $10. The only thing I'm going to show you that isn't in the $10, and I just wanted to give you another idea, it's my little Kool-Aid tin. And what I do is I store Kool-Aid. I picked this cute little can up at an antique store years ago. And what I do is I purchase Kool-Aid mixes and I put them in my tin can here.
And I also have some out in my preps also. Now, if we filter water or we're catching rainwater and we're in a situation where we have some pretty bad tasting water, or let's just say your family is just sick and tired of drinking water, you have something that is shelf stable that you can have in your preps, that you can have another flavor, another thing to make your family happy. And instead of using all your sugar, if you store something like Equal, Splenda, Stevia, whatever your pick is, then you can sugar your Kool-Aid without wasting all your sugar that you're going to use for cooking. So there you go. We're on week 6 of our 10 bucks a week food challenge. Again, we're building up our preps. We've got enough product here to build all sorts of breads. We've got oils, we've got dried milk, we've got our flour, oatmeal, we've got quinoa, we have some beans. Check out those other videos and come along with us as we keep building our food preps up so we have a sustainable pantry in case something happens. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe. And if you want to be notified for future videos, ring the bell. Have a blessed day.